Hey, yeah, just watched your session. Thought it was a really good, clear kind of objective to the session. I think it was clear to the boys you wanted to press high into wide areas. I think it was really clear. I think from the start you're able to kind of set the opposition up really well, get them to play out how you want to, and then go through with your own team. What I thought was really important and something that came across throughout the whole session was at times you stepped in, you rewinded, you kind of recreated the picture for the boys to see, and then you allowed them to play again. Other times you went in and spoke, especially kind of towards the end of the session. You went in, I think it was the left striker, the 7-11s, you went in, you spoke underneath to them and said, hey, just so you're aware, so you're giving the players individual little task if they didn't quite understand or if they didn't quite get the picture you were trying to create. Thought that's really important for their learning going forward. What I also really liked was the fact that you allowed it to play as well, so you allowed real situations to come up, so rather than just stopping it every time the opposition broke or got past the midfield or got past the press, you actually allowed the what if situations or the what if questions to come in. And then at times when that picture wasn't being necessarily created or you were getting questions, you were able to, when it restarted at the goalkeeper, you were able to actually recreate that picture and walk it through with the boys, so they had a clear understanding as well of what you wanted. So I thought that was really well done. Something that I also noticed as well was you're quite quick into a session, and then also you kind of removed yourself very quickly out of the session as well. So all in all, a really clear theme throughout and very clear ideas of what you wanted the player roles, what you wanted the players to do within various roles, and also a very clear objective of how you wanted the opposition to set out and play.
Hey, apologies, I just missed the work-ons. I think just in terms of looking at your session, one thing that you could potentially do in the future is just keep to the one press and leave the separate press kind of to another session, just to make sure that the boys have a clear understanding of the objectives of the one that you're already doing, rather than kind of overloading them. Yeah, that'd be the only work on I could see. Otherwise, awesome job.
Mary, how are you doing? Just had a look at that session, so I had a few notes here on the feedback for you. Okay. General stuff. Look, I think you had them in and playing quickly on the pitch within a minute, so that's pretty good, up and running. After a minute then you stopped and did your orientation of the opposition. Took about 2 minutes, which is really good. Back to free play, another minute, and then you on 6 minutes got to orientate your own team. So in terms of like timing and structure and how you did all that piece was all really good. I think the first stop was on 7 minutes, I have noted. Good info to the wide striker, which is if the fullback has the time to get his head up, we really want to get there and don't let him get his head up right to play. And then you were talking to the back four as well, that if he does have that time to get his head up and if we don't get pressed in time, that the back four need to drop off so we don't get caught with that ball over the top. So that was a good stop. Second one was after 10 minutes 30 seconds. Again, is if the opposition team did manage to play out, you were talking to the 9 and the 10 about how to swap over, that we're not a front two anymore. So 9 becomes 10 and 10 becomes 9, and one presses, one drops off, which gets us into a better shape in midfield. I thought that was a good one. I just noticed after 12 minutes the orientation of the opposition, the yellows starting to shift a bit. So they were dropping, the fullbacks were dropping too deep. I see on 16 minutes you picked it up and you reset them. So that was good. You copped it that the fullbacks were coming too deep and just you got them pushed back up high again. Nice little one-to-one stop after 14 minutes with Dylan, giving some good information on how to press and how not to get beaten when he's 1v1 with the centre back, not to let him get beaten, slow down his run. And then you made a slight change on how to invite the pass into the 6 instead of out wide to the full-backs, and show the two strikers how to do that, and show the number 10 how to invite the pass into the 6 and press it. So it was really good. Bang on time, finished on 22 minutes maybe, and then good quick debrief after a minute or so, and you know, you could see the learnings from the guys. That's it for me, Barry. Hope that's useful. Thanks. Bye.
Hey Baz, just wanted to give you some feedback on the session. Overall, I thought your session was very, very good. Really enjoyed it. I think the players got it. Got what the topic was that you're working on. Just to give you some feedback on it, I suppose. I just want to go through a kind of logical sequence. The introduction, obviously, because it's on video, I didn't get a chance to see your intro. I would have liked to see it. But from what I seen throughout the session, it looked like more than likely, and knowing you, Barry, you probably done a very good intro with the players. But I would have just liked to see that personally. I think in the orientation phase, you had a good setup with the opposition, telling them, to play through the tours and go and try and score. You set up your players as well, just to make sure that they were pressing. I liked how, again, and because it's your environment, it's not like when we're doing the A license itself. You had a good use of names. You affected all the players in the orientation phase, and you just got your shape right for both teams, for your opposition and for your own team before you started going through the actual into the learning phase. For the learning phase, I thought one thing for me that was really, really good was you use different coaching methods throughout. You coached in the flow quite a lot, which I thought was good. You use some natural stoppages, and you also, you done your stop freezes. And I liked how a couple of times throughout the video and throughout that session, you actually stopped and you coached some individuals, and while the player was still continue pulling individuals aside to give them some coaching points. So I did really like how you done that. For me, if I was to give any kind of criticism for when you were doing your freezes, and I'm only saying this because it's something that I do and I'm coaching as well, is I feel like some of your coaching points you probably were in there for a little bit too long, 90 seconds to 2 minutes. And that's if I'm being really critical of your session. I feel like, just from my perspective, and something that I've been trying to work on too, is that timing. So that's something I'm aware of when I watch other coaches coach, is how long they spend in with the coaching points. So I would like to maybe, if I was to watch another session of yours a little bit later in the duration of the course, I would like to see maybe has the time that you're going in with the coaching points gone a little bit quicker, but that would be probably the biggest criticism I'd have throughout the session. I thought the walkthroughs I thought was very good. You let them, again, it probably contradicts what I've just said, but I liked actually how you got them to play out. You gave them different scenarios, you walked it through, then you gave it back to the player in possession. I think a lot of the time you gave it to your centre back or your full back, but you also showed them what happens if it happens on the other side. So I really liked how you managed that one. I thought that you done a transition, so a coaching point of transition, where your team, the orange team that you were coaching, were defending, trying to press high to win the ball back, and they won it. And I think your number 9 started dribbling through and tried to dribble in through a couple of the opposition players, where I thought that stoppage for me was excellent. Where you stopped it, you were like, well, why would you dribble in around 3 or 4 of the opposition players? Why wouldn't you maybe look for a pass and get the ball into the box? So I thought that was, for me, that was probably one of the key coaching points that you had in the session. I really, really liked that. That you weren't just talking on the actual topic, you were talking about that transition phase as well, which I thought was really good. And I thought then, moving into your implementation phase, I thought that the team started to get success throughout. I actually to go back before I go into the implementation while you were still in the learning. I like how you coach what happens if they did break the press, and how players get back and the recovery runs that they make. I thought that was also very, very good and very important point, because as you said, as you were coaching, you're not always, the press isn't going to work every time. So what do we do once they beat the press? So I thought that was very good. But yeah, I thought, towards the end of your session, they started getting success. They scored a really good goal. I think they won it on the right hand side, and the ball went across the goalkeeper and for a tap in. And it was nice to see them get success then in the implementation phase. And I liked how your coaching at that point was just reiterating certain points. And I think at that stage in the implementation phase, that you leaned a little bit more on the individual coaching, which again I like, because you're just kind of giving reminders to players. I also liked how there was a good flow to your session. I think overall, I thought there was a good flow. I think it wasn't just looking at the orange team. You let the yellow team go up and have some success of their own, so it kept it fresh for them. I know sometimes, and even from my own experience, when you're running sessions like that, that it's hard when you're trying to get your coaching point in, that you want to just restart from where you are, and you let it flow at certain times and let them get that success before you brought it back. So I thought that was very good. Your debrief I thought was good. Good use of the tactic board. You were asking questions of the players, guided questions. You had a couple of players, moving the magnets on the board, which I think is good. And you used examples from the session from what you had seen as well. So you're just kind of reminding the players of those examples of good play and examples of success. So I think for me, Barry, I thought it was a very, very good session. As I say, and only literally because it's something that I need to improve on. And I just saw it in yours, and it might just be nitpicky from my perspective. I would just like to see maybe a little bit quicker getting in with your coaching point and getting out again. But overall, I thought it was very good. And I think putting conditions on it, to score at the early stage of the session, so you can get in to do your orientation. I thought that was good too. But yeah, I think for me, I think your session overall, Barry, was very, very good. Yeah.